Good evening, TheoTrade. This is Corey Rosenblum, and you're watching the Theo Nightly video for the 4th of August here in 2020, and the bull market continues. It certainly feels that way if we're looking at this from the Nasdaq perspective, which is the tech-heavy sector. That 11,000 print's been amazing to say, 11,000 here in the Nasdaq futures, and today took us to new all-time highs, and the uptrend continues. The little bull type of bounce is achieved and exceeded the upside target, and the S&P is just a little bit beneath that. The S&P at the close today caught a major short squeeze bid to push us up fully into the 3300 target, and that's been a relatively longer term perspective play on each little pullback or retracement, and I like to play to the prior high, but if it truly is uptrending, the market does go on to make higher highs. Strange as it may be, without pullbacks or retracements on the short term, we still got this new squeeze to the 3300 level. That is going to be in play clearly on Wednesday and Thursday, and of course the remainder of this week. We have right now Disney earnings. We won't focus too much on that in this video, but Disney did report earnings, and as of this video, shortly after the close, you're seeing it relatively unchanged. After a push to the downside, it reported 8 cents on the earnings EPS, and high up here, it's just been volatile, but it's low to high and right back to where it started. So any type of butterfly trades or call or put spreads, watch those on the morning session. This may change. This is the immediate reaction. And if you're ever curious, if you need to know what the news is, always feel free to go inside the thinkorswim platform and take a look at Disney or other earnings. And you can see, well, of course, there's the losses. With their parks being shuttered, it's just dramatic. Lost nearly $5 billion in the most recent quarter. And that is the coronavirus type of information. Disney is also an entertainment company, so movies, and with the theaters being down, it's just a lot of things that are not bullish for the stock. But with all that being said, you can read deeper into the earnings. We're not seeing a big change, and that could easily change on Wednesday's session. Okay, so that being said, that's the first news. Other companies reported earnings today included Exelon, which didn't move too much on their earnings report. Emerson, again, not a whole lot moving there, and Allstate just reported. Coming up, CVS, and that's going to report tomorrow morning, and MetLife. Beyond that, Bristol Myers Squibb and Berkshire Hathaway. That's the key thing in play. When the market pushes up to highs, it's always important to check which stocks are joining and which ones aren't. So what about the big tech names? We just talked about the Nasdaq index itself at the all-time high. What about our TheoTrade monsters or titans of tech? Even though it pushed up, the new high with the monsters of tech symbol, the conglomerate signal, and that's not making a new all-time high today. That may be in part because of a little movement in both directions. So we had relative strength. I'll just go through these quickly. On Netflix, which was bullish today, up about 2%. And we had Nvidia, not part of the monsters of tech, I get it, but still a technology stock that is strong, pushing off to new all-time highs. And I have to scroll down our list. Qualcomm, not a monsters of tech, but still strong in today's session. Cisco, again, not a monsters of tech. We have to go all the way down to Amazon to get our first major monster of tech. And the other ones would include Google, which remains on a pullback or retracement from the high that had bad earnings. And we can take a look at Apple, not a major player in today's session, being relatively flat. And that continues to push up away from not an all-time high. And we can look at any other stock within that sector. Here's the one to watch, Microsoft. So Microsoft did have a pullback or sell swing today, and that is in part why the monsters of tech were relatively weak when it comes to the broader Nasdaq index. The S&P's pushed up to that swing high. Which stocks joined it? Are there any major rotations that we should be aware of? First, financials were down on today's session. Technology was up. The big leader today was energy, right there with materials, staples, and healthcare. That should be seen as relatively bearish or defensive. that's playing into these later cycle earnings plays or later cycle economic strength. We call these risk-off sectors. Now here's the big kicker. The stock's making new. This is a 52-week high. So roughly speaking, a new swing high. In some cases, new all-time highs, but at least new 52-week highs. And these are scans within the thinkorswim platform. And I like to just, I like to look at the names, but take a look at which sectors are leading. Materials, industrials, there's your staples. There it is. XLP is the ETF. We also have healthcare. There's XLV and consumer services, which is kind of a technology. So these names, anything familiar? Some of them. We won't go through them all. There's too many to name. In the S&P 500, 29 stocks made new 52-week highs today. Let's just kind of sort by market cap. And we can go through these. We'll pull this back off, go to our charts, and just look at the trends. Procter Gamble has the largest market cap of the stocks making new 52-week highs. Here's the thought process when we bring this chart or scan up. That which is strong tends to get stronger. That which is making new 52-week highs now tends to keep making new 52-week highs in the future. And that which is strong, again, like NVIDIA, keeps going up. It's and believe me, I'm tempted to do the same thing, but to short or fade something that is rising. But trends tend to continue, be it earnings or fundamentals or company valuations or just the trend itself. The edge actually favors playing in the direction of the trend with those pullbacks. Could be call spreads, could be in-out spreads, but they are bullish unless you want to trade the fades at the pullbacks back to this 20 exponential moving average. So that is overbought, overextended, but we'll still take a look at some of the other names that are playing off into these all-time highs. Here's one, Costco. And that's just scratch your head with that one. So even in this pandemic, we still have to buy supplies, food, and the like. So Costco, despite some volatility earlier, broke to the highs, did a pullback, and today is a major short squeeze. And that's post-earnings. That's not an earnings type of play. This is into the future here. We had the earnings recently there. 36 days to go to the next earnings report for Costco. Otherwise, we have UPS, delivery, charter, kind of a communication, and won't go through them all. But we talked a lot in the chat room today about AMD. And quickly to see Target is up there too, General Mills, Clorox, McCormick. Actually, I do want to take a look at those because we've referenced that many times in 2020. Despite the coronavirus and despite all the economic shutdown, you still have to spice your food. And McCormick, MKC, is one of those boring, bland, not the spice, not the product, but the stock. It's a spice company, yet it keeps making higher highs, and these are pullback type of trades opportunities. And we also had Clorox, despite the pandemic, right? These are risk off or safety type of plays. Hopefully, you still clean your house, and Clorox has products for that. Boring, absolutely, but risk controlled and profitable with the pullbacks there. We've been talking about Clorox since it continued to show up on our scans earlier in the year. And that really didn't fall much from that coronavirus sell-off. And General Mills. You may not eat cereal, but if you do, there's a whole line of breakfast products available. And General Mills is one of those boring companies. We don't really talk about them that much, not like Tesla or Apple or Google or anything else like that. But you don't have to drive a Tesla. You do have to eat. And so these little boring type, or shop at Target, right? Target is up there too at a new 52-week high. So that may be the theme of tonight's video. Market rises, market rally, and these little boring stocks take the center stage, while other stocks might not. It's easy to get focused on these big names. I, again, do it too. For Tesla, see how that's playing in, or Amazon, all the rest. But keep in mind, sometimes things that are not so flashy tend to be a little more stable. They're behind the scenes, and they're things traders aren't watching, and there are opportunities outside the popular tech or names that you're probably very familiar with. So again, markets at these new highs, bullish type of trends continue despite any economic news. yet the price charts continue to rally, and our stocks making new 52-week highs, continuing to push stronger, are actually getting stronger, and they have been for most of the year. So keep focused on these, keep positions on, keep safe, right? We don't know the future. All we can do is play the probabilities as they lie, or as I say, deal the cards or play the cards the market deals us. Maybe not the cards we want. Always be careful and be safe. It's Corey Rosenblum with tonight's Theo Nightly video for August 4th, 2020.